Eldoria, a land of ancient magic and breathtaking beauty. Towering mountains pierce the heavens, their peaks lost in swirling mists. Deep forests whispered secrets in the wind, their ancient trees gnarled and wise. Crystal-clear rivers flowed through emerald valleys teeming with life. But a shadow had fallen upon Eldoria, a darkness that threatened to consume all light. An ancient prophecy foretold the coming darkness. It spoke of Zorvax, the Dark Titan, who would rise from the abyss to enslave Eldoria. Only a hero of pure heart, marked by destiny, could defeat him. The prophecy mentioned a single name, whispered on the winds of time: Kael. Hope lay dormant, waiting for the chosen one to rise. The fate of Eldoria hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of oblivion. Kael knew nothing of prophecies or destinies. He was just another young man in the village, living a life that seemed ordinary and unremarkable. He lived a simple life in the village of Oakhaven, a place where everyone knew each other, and the days were filled with the sounds of laughter and hard work. He was strong and kind, with a thirst for adventure that burned bright within him. Every day he trained with his sword, dreaming of the day he might leave the village and explore the world beyond. He felt a connection to the forest, a whisper of ancient power that resonated deep within his soul. The trees seemed to speak to him, their leaves rustling with secrets of old. One night the earth trembled. It was as if the very ground beneath his feet was trying to tell him something, a message from the depths of the earth. The sky crackled with crimson energy, lighting up the night with a fierce, otherworldly glow. It was a sight that filled the villagers with both awe and fear. From the heart of the whispering woods, a beacon of light erupted, piercing the darkness. It was a call, a summons that could not be ignored. This was the call, the ancient summons, echoing through the land, reaching out for its champion. Kael felt it deep within his bones, a pull that he could not resist. It was time for the prophecy to be fulfilled. The moment he had unknowingly been preparing for his entire life had finally arrived.
What is happening? Kael's mind raced with questions, his heart pounding in his chest. Why do I feel this pull, this calling? He could not understand the strange sensations coursing through him, the sense of destiny that seemed to envelop him.
Kael, drawn by an unseen force, found himself standing before the ancient elders. Their eyes, filled with wisdom and power, seemed to see right through him.
Kael, you are the chosen one. The words echoed in his mind, a truth he had never imagined. The blood of ancient guardians flows through your veins. You are part of a lineage that has protected this land for centuries. You are destined to defeat Zorvax and save Eldoria. The dark sorcerer who threatens our world can only be stopped by you. Your journey is about to begin. With these words, Kael felt a surge of determination. He knew that his life would never be the same, and he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As he looked out over the horizon, Kael felt a sense of purpose like never before. The path ahead was uncertain, but he was ready to embrace his destiny and become the hero he was meant to be.
Armed with an ancient map and the blessings of the elders, Kael felt a surge of responsibility and determination. The map, a relic from a bygone era, was said to hold the key to saving Eldoria. The elders, wise and ancient, had entrusted him with this sacred mission, believing in his potential to change the fate of their world. Kael set out into the unknown, his steps guided by the whispers of the past and the hopes of the future. Each step he took was a step away from the familiar and a step closer to the destiny that awaited him. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and excitement. The thrill of adventure was intoxicating, yet the weight of his mission was ever present. He knew that every decision he made could mean the difference between victory and defeat. The fate of Eldoria rested on his shoulders, a heavy burden for one so young. The responsibility was immense, but Kael was determined to rise to the challenge. He had trained for this moment his entire life, and now it was time to prove his worth. A heavy burden for one so young. Yet Kael's resolve was unshakable. He had the heart of a warrior and the spirit of a hero. His journey would test him in ways he could never have imagined, but he was ready to face whatever came his way. His journey would be perilous. The path ahead was fraught with danger, and every step was a test of his courage and strength. The wilderness was unforgiving, and the challenges were many. He would face treacherous landscapes, cunning beasts, and the relentless forces of Zorvax's growing army. Each obstacle was a reminder of the stakes of his mission and the importance of his success, and the relentless forces of Zorvax's growing army. The dark forces were ever present, lurking in the shadows and waiting for the right moment to strike. Kael knew that he had to stay vigilant and be prepared for anything. But Kael was not one to back down from a challenge. His determination was unwavering, and his spirit was unbreakable. He was ready to face whatever came his way, no matter how daunting the task.
I will not fail. Kael's voice was steady and confident, a reflection of his inner strength and resolve. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but he was ready to face it head-on. The spirit of Eldoria burns bright within me. The fire within him was a beacon of hope, a reminder of the strength and courage that lay within. It was this fire that would guide him through the darkest of times.
He carried within him the courage of his ancestors. Their legacy was his strength, and their wisdom was his guide. Kael knew that he was not alone in this journey. The spirits of those who came before him were with him every step of the way. The first step was to find the Ancient Ones, the last of the giants. These mythical beings held the secrets to defeating Zorvax, and Kael knew that their knowledge was crucial to his mission, the last of the giants. These towering beings were the guardians of ancient wisdom, and their guidance was essential for Kael's success. He had to find them and learn their secrets. They were the only ones who knew the secret to defeating Zorvax. Their knowledge was the key to victory, and Kael was determined to unlock it. He knew that the journey would be difficult, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The map led Kael towards the spine of the world, a treacherous mountain range said to be home to mythical creatures and untold dangers. This was the first major obstacle in his journey, and he knew that it would test his limits. A treacherous mountain range said to be home to mythical creatures and untold dangers. The spine of the world was a place of legend, a land where few dared to venture. But Kael was not deterred. He knew that beyond these mountains lay the answers he sought, and he was ready to face whatever challenges awaited him. The air grew thin and cold as Kael ascended the slopes of the spine of the world. Each step was a battle against the biting wind and the treacherous ice beneath his feet. The higher he climbed, the more the world below seemed to fade away, leaving only the harsh, unforgiving landscape of the mountains. Jagged peaks clawed at the sky, their summits lost in swirling clouds. The mountains seemed to stretch on forever, a labyrinth of stone and snow that tested the limits of any who dared to traverse them. The sheer scale of the peaks was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, a testament to the raw power of nature. This was the domain of Gromm, the last of the mountain giants, a being of immense power and ancient wisdom. Gromm had watched over these mountains for centuries, his presence a silent guardian against the encroaching darkness that threatened the land. His knowledge of the mountains was unparalleled, and his strength was legendary.
These mountains, they feel alive, almost like they're watching me. Kael couldn't shake the feeling that he was being observed, that the very stones and trees were aware of his presence. It was as if the mountains themselves were sentient, their ancient spirits watching over all who entered their domain.
Kael found Gromm standing guard over a narrow pass, his granite skin etched with the passage of centuries. The giant's presence was both imposing and reassuring, a living embodiment of the mountain's enduring strength. Gromm's eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to hold the weight of countless years and untold stories. The giant's voice, when he spoke, was like the rumble of an avalanche, echoing through the mountains. It was a sound that commanded attention, a voice that carried the authority of the ages. Each word seemed to resonate with the very essence of the mountains, a powerful reminder of the giant's connection to the land.
Who dares to tread in my domain? Gromm's question was both a challenge and a warning, a reminder that the mountains were not to be taken lightly. His gaze bore into Kael, assessing the young climber's resolve and purpose.
Gromm was a being of few words, but his eyes held a deep sadness, a weariness born of countless battles against the forces of darkness. The scars of these battles were etched into his very being, a testament to the struggles he had endured to protect the mountains and their secrets. Kael approached with respect, presenting the Elder's token. The token was a symbol of trust and recognition, a sign that Kael came with the blessings of those who understood the gravity of his mission. It was a gesture that spoke of the importance of the task at hand and the need for Gromm's aid.
Great Gromm, I bring news of the prophecy and the encroaching darkness. Kael's voice was filled with urgency, the weight of his message pressing upon him. He knew that the fate of the mountains, and perhaps the world, depended on the giant's response.
Gromm listened intently as Kael spoke of the prophecy and the encroaching darkness. The giant's expression was one of deep contemplation, his mind turning over the implications of the young climber's words. The prophecy was an ancient one, and its fulfillment would bring great change to the land. A flicker of hope, long dormant, ignited in the giant's eyes. It was a spark that had not been seen in many years, a sign that perhaps, just perhaps, there was a way to turn the tide against the darkness.
Perhaps there is still a chance. Gromm's voice, though still tinged with the weight of his years, carried a newfound determination. The mountains had seen many ages and many battles, but with Kael's arrival there was a glimmer of hope that the future might yet be saved.